Hello everyone, how are you doing? So first of all, I have questions for you. Who of you guys has ever heard of LNBits? Can you raise your hand? Okay, a couple people. Who of you have heard of LNVPN? Okay, it's a little bit less people. And who of you have heard of Ordimint? I think no one. Okay, some people. Okay, cool. I want to talk about these three topics today. I call them something like layer 2.5 because they are all building on the Lightning network, on the Lightning protocol. And I think it's very important to focus on apps we can build on Lightning because like the internet, it's not like that the protocol is the thing that is successful. It's always the apps and the applications that we build on top of this protocol. So like the TCP/IP protocol, the internet protocol, I mean, it's great. But really successful is this protocol only because we build stuff on top of this protocol like Facebook or Amazon or all the other stuff we know. So who am I? I'm Lightrider 5. I'm the fifth iteration of the Lightrider robots. I'm passionate about building on top of Lightning. I'm especially focusing on building apps, trying to build some use cases for Lightning, trying to onboard new users. I'm active in the Lightning ecosystem since 5 years. I'm also a node operator. And of course, you can check out all my work on GitHub because I'm open sourcing everything. And my main focus is to make the Lightning network more usable and also to build apps because, as you may know, we had Pollo Feed. I think it was 4 years ago. It was a website where you could feed some chickens in Mexico. You scan the QR code, you pay the Lightning invoice, and then the chickens in Mexico got fed. I mean, this was a perfect MVP. It was a perfect proof of concept, but it's not something that the Lightning network makes successful. We need more things that people really use. And so I'm focused on that, and I'm also working for Bitrefill and Fulmo. Yeah, today we will talk about LNBits. Many of you heard of it already. We will also talk about LNVPN, which is, in my opinion, a perfect use case for the Lightning network. And we will also take a quick look into Ordimint. It's just an MVP. It's a few weeks old. And LNVPN and also Ordimint is built on top of LNBits. They use LNBits in their backend. They use LNBits for channel management, for liquidity management, and also to generate invoices and get notified when an invoice was paid. And we will also talk shortly about the advantages of building an app on the Lightning network and also building maybe a business on top of the Lightning network. So as I said, LNBits, that's the first topic. It's an extendable wallet accounting system for Lightning. I personally see it as the WordPress for Lightning. So who's familiar here with WordPress? I mean, it's an extremely successful building toolkit to build websites. I think about 80% of all websites, there was a time when 80% of all websites have been built with WordPress. And I think that LNBits is something comparable to WordPress, but when it comes to the Lightning network. And to be honest, there is nothing you cannot do with LNBits when you want to do something with the Lightning network. For example, I use it for these applications, but I also use it in everyday use as my mobile phone wallet. You just open on your phone the browser, and then you go to your LNBits wallet, and then you can pay and receive payments. And you don't have to do all this hustle like download an app and have to deal with all the app store policies. So that's very convenient. And of course, it's free and open source. And you can host it on your own. You can host it on your own server. But you can also go to, for example, legends.lnbits.com and use the hosted service of it. So I would also always recommend to host it on your own. But if you don't have the technical skills to do that, it's completely fine when you use the hosted service. So don't put your life savings into this because, of course, it's custodial. But I think it's a good way to play around and see all the functionality you have with LNBits and all the systems behind it. So as you see, LNBits is in between the apps you want to build and the funding source. So the funding source, it can be your own node. It can be your DIY node like Raspberry Blitz or Umbrel or MyNode, but you can also use Lightning Tipbot, for example. LNT Export, unfortunately, not anymore because it's gone. But you can also connect your LNBits to C Lightning and also LND. And on the other side, you have a wallet accounting system you can easily access through a website. And you have also a REST API, so you can connect your LNBits instance to all kind of websites. So LNBits is not only software, it's also some hardware. You have, for example, the Lightning point of sale device. It's a device where you can receive offline payments, Lightning payments. This can be good, for example, if you're in developed countries which have not a very good internet connection. But for example, it was also funny in Germany. We did a workshop with these tools for a bank. And this workshop was hosted in a university. And when it comes to mobile internet and Wi-Fi, Germany is also a developing country. You can't believe it, but it is. And the university was not able to give us Wi-Fi. So some workshops had to struggle. There were also some node workshops. They had to really struggle, but not the Lightning point of sale workshop because it absolutely needs no internet. Then you have also the Noster signing device. I think they were also already talking about this device here on stage. And you have also the bolt cards, the LNBits bolt cards, which are very similar to the bolt cards, I think, by CoinCorner. And if you want to buy them, you can buy in the Fulmo or LNBits shop. So when you use LNBits as a hosted service, you just go to legends.lnbits.com, and then you create a new wallet. You just type in the name of your wallet, and then you have a new Lightning wallet within 10 seconds. It's also interesting, for example, if you are a Lightning expert and you have a local community, then you can host, for example, LNBits for the others, and they can use your LNBits. So you provide a Lightning node, and then you install LNBits, and then you give your friends or your community members, you give them the LNBits URL, and then they can create a wallet on your server, so on your Lightning node and on your server. So you do all the channel management, all the liquidity management for them, and they just can use it. And also as an incentive to do that for other people, you can go to the LNBits. There's an admin panel also, and there you can charge them, for example, a fee of, 0.1%. And so whenever one of your community members is making a payment, you get a small amount of that. So you have an extremely successful plugin system in the backend. You can choose among 37 plugins you can install. For example, you have the TPOS plugin. It's a point-of-sale plugin. For example, we in Berlin, we use this plugin for our local meetup. We have this installed in a bar. They have just a tablet there, and they use it to receive Lightning payments. The staff there, the bartenders, they are absolute no-coiners. They know nothing about Lightning or also about Bitcoin, but they just use it, and it works extremely well. So it's a very easy-to-use setup. Then you have also extensions like the Bolts extension and also like Dizzy.io. This is very interesting because you can swap your funds from Lightning to on-chain. So for example, if you are a bar owner, for example, then you can make automatic swaps from Lightning to on-chain. For example, you say, okay, if I have more than 5 million Satoshis on my LNBits, I want to do an automatic swap to my on-chain address, so to put my funds into cold storage, you can just use these extensions, and then they are automatically swapped when a certain amount is reached. It has also a cashew extension, so if you are into eCash and you want to spin up your own mint, I would suggest LNBits is at the moment the easiest way to do that. I think there are already about 200 or 300 eCash mints running on LNBits. So if you don't want to wait until Fedimint is done, you can already experiment with eCash if you do it via LNBits. Then some more extensions. You can install a paywall, for example, for your website. You have also the Blescomart, for example, which is a Lightning ATM. You just insert coins or bills, and then you get a QR code on the display of the ATM, and then you can receive the funds via a mobile phone wallet. And so, yeah, a lot of extensions. And so this is LNBits, how it works. So by the way, I'm not very good at graphic design, so I'm sorry for the colors and everything. So you have a funding source, and then you plug it to LNBits, and then you have an extremely powerful tool. As I said, for me, it's like WordPress, but only for Lightning. So you have wallets and plugins. You can connect it to every website. And you also have a accounting system and user management where you can give certain users certain rights. And so, yeah, for me, it's like WordPress. So when I saw LNBits the first time, I mean, I saw it already before 2021, but in the Lightning Hack Day in Istanbul 2 years ago, I realized for the first time, okay, with LNBits, so I'm a web developer and I want to integrate Lightning into my website, but I don't want to do all this hustle, you know? I don't want to do liquidity management and opening and closing channels and fetch the invoices and look if the invoice was paid and so. But at the Lightning Hack Day, I saw for the first time that LNBits has a backend API. So I don't have to care about all this stuff as a web developer. I just can use LNBits in the backend, and I can just focus on my main business. I can just focus on other services, and I don't have to take care of the Lightning stuff. And when I saw that the first time, I played around. I built some tools like, for example, a tweet bot. It was extremely simple. You type in a tweet, then you pay with Lightning, and then the tweet was broadcasted to Twitter. Of course, this lasted only 3 or 4 days because many people were abusing it and were posting stuff on Twitter you should not post on Twitter. But yeah, we have now Noster for that. And then there was the Oslo Freedom Forum, and Alex Gladstein, maybe you are familiar with him, he came to us and said, okay, it would be cool if we have some VPN service, which is also payable via Lightning, because at the moment there was no VPN service you could pay with Lightning. I think you can also use Mulvat, for example. It's a very famous VPN service, but the problem is you pay not directly to them via Lightning, you pay via a proxy, so you pay someone else. This person is buying a Mulvat subscription, and then you get the keys from this person. So there was no VPN which natively accepts Lightning. And so we decided to build LNVPN. I will show you later what it is exactly. And also, we took part at the Bold Fun Hackathon. Here, a short shout out to the people who are organizing this hackathon. They are really doing a great job. And we also extended LNVPN so that you can also have disposable phone numbers and an endpoint, an VPN endpoint in Africa. And very luckily, we made the second prize in this hackathon. So it's a privacy-focused VPN provider. It just focuses on the VPN, so you don't have to do all this hustle like creating a subscription or so. The keys for the VPN tunnel are only generated on the client side, so the private and public key of the VPN never touches our backend. It accepts only Lightning. It is very flexible, so you don't have to make a monthly subscription or even more, or a year subscription. You can also use it just for 1 hour, so it's a pay-as-you-go model. It provides also SMS verification service. So for example, you are in the US or wherever, and you want to spin up a new Telegram account, and you don't want to give them your real phone number. You just go to the service, then you pay a Lightning invoice. I think it's 80 dollar cents. And then you get a phone number which is valid for 20 minutes. And on this phone number, you receive a verification code. And then you can forward this verification code to Telegram, and you're all good. And so it has no KYC. It has, of course, no credit cards, no PayPal, no email, no bullshit. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to use such services via credit card or via KYC or via PayPal, because then the use case of this is completely gone. So how does it work? It's a very simple surface. You just select the country you want to have the endpoint in, for example, US or Kenya, the one in Africa, or Iceland, or you're free to choose whatever you like. And then you also select the duration, like 1 hour, 1 day, a week. up to 3 months, so 1 quarter. And this is also a little bit of a technical explanation. So the user exchanges the key. They are generated in the browser only in the front end. And the front end is forwarding this key to one of the endpoints. We have servers in each of these countries where we have the WireGuard API running. And so the tunnel is directly established between the user and one of these endpoints. And the LNVPN backend is only there to manage the Lightning payments. So the key is always only in the front end. It touches never the backend. And of course, here we have LNBits in the backend as an accounting system. So as I said, you go to the surface, you select the country, you select your duration, and then you go to the Lightning payment. As always, you get an invoice. You can open the invoice in your preferred wallet or copy it or however you like it. And then when the payment is successful, you get a configuration file for your WireGuard. So we use the WireGuard protocol. Maybe you are familiar with it. It's a very fast VPN protocol. We use that one, so you get some configs. These configs are within this QR code. So for example, if you want to have a VPN connection on your iPhone or on your Android phone, you just scan this QR code, and then you have a VPN tunnel. So you are able to establish a VPN tunnel within about 30 seconds, I would say. And you can also download the file to your computer and import it into the WireGuard app. Or you can also send it to yourself via email, but then, of course, you have to enter an email address, but we don't save this email anywhere. So it's a perfect use case because, yeah, as I said, it's very straightforward. Within 30 seconds, you get your VPN tunnel. Then, as I said, we have also phone numbers. It's a cooperation with SMS4Sets. Maybe you have heard of them. They are in the backend providing us with telephone numbers. It's a disposal SMS verification service payable only with Lightning. And the cool thing is, I don't know if you heard of HODL invoices, but they are some kind of escrow. So the customer get only charged if he receives or if they receive successfully the verification code. So only then the invoice is settled. And I can highly recommend every one of you who is doing something with Lightning or providing some services for Lightning, I would always recommend you to use this kind of HODL invoices, because then you get rid of a lot of customer service issues, because whenever something goes wrong, the customer is not charged. Yeah? So you get rid of hundreds of customer requests like, hey, I've paid, I don't receive my code or so. So if you make it clear on your website, hey, you get only charged if you 100% received your verification code, then this is really convenient and you spare a lot of time when it comes to customer service. So again, it's like it's very straightforward, perfect use case. You choose the country where the phone number should be. You choose the service you want to use, so we make sure that the same phone number is not used twice for the same service, because then, of course, the service would realize, hey, this phone number was already used for Uber, for example. So we make sure that we don't have any phone number collisions. Then again, you get a Lightning invoice, you pay the Lightning invoice, and then you get here your phone number, and you copy-paste the phone number to, for example, in this case, it was Uber. You copy-paste it to Uber, and then Uber is sending a verification code to the phone number you provided, and then you see here the verification code, and then you forward this to Uber again. So why is Lightning here a perfect match? Because Lightning is perfect when it comes to privacy for the payer. It's a bit different when you receive payments, because then sometimes you have to reveal the identity of your own node. But with LM Proxy, we have also workarounds for that. You don't need an email address. You also don't need credit cards or PayPal. Of course, no KYC. I mean, it's horrible to use a VPN service with KYC. You have also no subscription. So for example, if you are a dissident in some country and you just want to upload some sensitive documents or so, it's perfectly fine if you use it only for 1 hour. And it's also very cheap, so we charge only $3 per month or 10 cents per hour. So now it gets controversial. Who of you have heard of ordinals? Who of you hate ordinals? Okay. Yeah, I don't hate them, and it's also not that I would say I would love them, but they are there, and so we have to deal with them. And so I was seeing a lot on the Discord servers where people dealt with ordinals. They were all asking the same questions. Hey, how can I spin up my own node? What's the difference between Bitcoin D and Bitcoin Core? And there were a lot of questions, and I was thinking, okay, here's maybe another use case for Lightning. Let's just make a simple service. You upload a picture, text file, or domain, or whatever, and then you choose a wallet, choose a fee, and then you pay with Lightning, and then the file or whatever is inscribed to the blockchain. It supports also BRC20 tokens, but to be honest, I don't believe that this will last long because they are extremely inefficient. And I'm pretty sure they will be gone in a few weeks. But again, for me, it was just another perfect use case for Lightning. And I saw a lot of new people coming into the Bitcoin ecosystem, especially from other chains. And I was like, okay, I want to welcome these people, and I want to welcome them to the Lightning Network. And so I want to provide a tool for them so that they can use it. And it was really interesting also to step a little bit out of the bubble because we are in such a bubble in our Lightning ecosystem, in our Bitcoin ecosystem. But when these new people came in, they had a lot of questions I would have never thought about that this is possible. For example, when someone had a problem and was writing to us, hey, I have a problem with my inscription. What happened to the invoice or so? And then I was always replying like, hey, just send us an invoice and we will refund you. And then I always got the question, what is an invoice? For us, it's so natural to talk about invoices when it comes to Lightning, but these people, they come from other chains, they come from other projects. They had no idea what a Lightning invoice is, for example. And so it also provides a wallet. You can link, your Albi, for example, your Albi browser extension. You can link it to the website, and then you can receive your ordinals via your Nostr public key. And if you want to send an ordinal, the transaction is signed via your Albi, via your Nostr private key, which is stored in the Albi browser extension. Because with Albi you can also access Nostr, as you know. And we use this public and this private key from Nostr to store ordinals on it. You can also connect your ledger, and you can also use our own wallets. And how does it work? So it's very simple. The user has a document, and he pays with Lightning, and then the document is forwarded to us, and we forward the document to the Ord wallet. The Ord wallet is in the backend. It's the wallet which can inscribe stuff to the Bitcoin blockchain. So the Ord wallet is inscribing it to the blockchain. And here is, again, LNBits, our big helper, because without LNBits, we would not know how to do this. Because we, of course, receive funds via Lightning, but the Ord wallet, of course, is only working with on-chain funds. So we are a heavy user of Dizzy.io or the Boltz extensions, and because with that, we can always swap Lightning payments to on-chain. And so what's also very interesting, and which is also a very good use case now, and we are already implementing this in kind of a trustless marketplace, are PSBTs. I don't know who of you have heard of PSBTs or know what PSBTs are. I mean, they are around since a while, but now they become really sexy. If you want to look into that deeper, I can recommend you the Explain Bitcoin podcast. They have a perfect episode about it. So it's very simple. You have every Bitcoin transaction has input and has outputs. And now, for example, I want to sell an ordinal, or it's not only for JPEGs, so you have to imagine it's also for videos, for audio files, it's for PDF, signed PDF documents. For example, I want to sell this and want to receive Bitcoin. So I sign a transaction, I sign only this part of the transaction where I give the Bitcoin to someone else and receive a certain amount of Bitcoin. And then I broadcast this transaction, which is partially signed, to my website, for example. And then as a buyer, I see this offer. I see, okay, here's someone who wants to sell a file for that amount of Bitcoin. And I say, okay, the price is what I want to pay for. And then the buyer sells the other part, which is, for example, the input, here the BTC, the Bitcoin the buyer has to pay, and also maybe the platform fee. And then, so we can see it here again, the seller is signing this part of the transaction, which gives the document to someone else and the Bitcoin to himself. And then when the buyer comes, he's signing the rest of it, so there is zero trust between those two parties. Then they broadcast this now completely signed transaction to the blockchain, to the Bitcoin blockchain, and then the transaction gets mined, and then the seller receives some Bitcoin and the buyer receives his document. And the last 2 days I was also talking to some Ethereum developers. They came to the PlebFi hackathon. And they were like, okay, we have left Bitcoin in 2014 or 2015, but now they're coming back because they say that this is the most purest form of a smart contract, and it's so simple, so that here nothing goes wrong, and it's not like in Ethereum where you have to write dozen lines of code in Solidity and where you can mess it up very easily. This is just the purest form of a smart contract, and I think we are only scratching on the surface of what we can do with this. So, to sum it up, what is my takeaways from building this kinds of things? The good thing is with Lightning and Bitcoin, you can focus on your business activity from day number one. You don't have to do all this registration stuff and all the KYC stuff. You need a PayPal account. You need a Stripe account to accept payments. You can start on your core business from the first day. You can test from the first day. Is there a demand for your product or is there no demand? Because normally it's the other way around. You have to do all this KYC drama, and you spend a lot of time and money on that. And after that, you can start your business, and then you can find out if there are really users or not. And it's also that the UX, I know sometimes it's maybe not the best because when someone is not familiar with Lightning, but on the other side, Lightning is just perfect. As I showed you with LNVPN, it's just a perfect use case. You come to a website, you want just to buy something. You don't want to insert your email, your phone number, your name and everything, and also your credit card details. You just want to buy something. That's it. So these are my main takeaways. And I can only encourage everyone to start building something like this. Search for a developer, search for a designer who can help you. We need way more of apps on the Lightning Network, so that people are encouraged to use the Lightning Network. Because when there are no apps and when there are no use cases, we don't need this protocol. So I can really encourage you, start building, help the builders. We need every single developer in the space, so be welcoming, be inclusive to them, whatever they want to build, even if it's something controversial with ordinals. I can tell you, I have never seen so many people coming into the Bitcoin space like I have seen the last 2 or 3 months. It's completely overwhelming, and also many developers from other chains are coming back right now, so I really want to encourage you to have maybe a look into it and maybe encourage people doing this. So with that said, thank you very much.
Thank you, Miami, for the last 3 years in this amazing city. The whole world shut down, but Miami welcomed us with open arms. We want to show Bitcoin to the whole world. We are taking the conference on the road to set the stage for Bitcoin in a new city. Nashville. Bitcoin 2024 is coming to Nashville in Tennessee. A city that is known as a music and freedom city. Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville from July 25th to 27th.